Hi, my name is Laura Miller, and I'm the founder of Giant Test Design, which is the company responsible for designing the Atontonuco Rural Community Center. So before we jump into the project, I wanted to share a little bit more about why projects like this are important. So currently, there are three converging global events: urbanization, cheap energy depletion, and climate change, all which are taking a drastic hit on the environment and call for a drastic change in how we do things and limit our contribution to them. That means limiting greenhouse gas emissions, waste, and resource depletion, and looking into what emits the most CO2 and greenhouse gas emissions. So the three sectors that do so are buildings, transportation, and industry, where in the US, buildings account for half of the greenhouse gas emissions annually. With that in mind, planning and designing green buildings can be considered an active intervention, especially in urban areas or developing areas where most of the population in the world reside. This allows for humans' needs to be met while limiting their impact on the environment. So a little bit about the project. It's a 4,000 square meter community center. It has a pool, indoor-outdoor learning spaces, commercial kitchen, green roof and recreation rooms. It's located between the jurisdictions of the town of Atotonilco El Bajo and the city of Guadalajara in Jalisco, Mexico, which are denoted on the map to your right. Its hot, humid climate makes it ideal for certain green building initiatives that we could implement. But the project was chosen because the mixture of villages and towns around the city that lack access to its resources make the center a good thing to have there. And by using a blend of energy, water, and materials efficiency measures to create a more sustainable design, we could have something great. So when thinking about what platforms to use to do so, to design this, there were three that came to mind, mainly because they're more prominent in the industry right now. There was LEED, which is primarily taken into account for more developed countries because it's leading green building standards across the world, but some of the data just isn't there for more local initiatives or projects. There's STARS, which universities, colleges, and campuses use to measure their sustainability impact, which isn't really pertinent to this project. And there was EDGE, which was built with developing countries and cities in mind, particularly those with lower to moderate income populations like Jalisco. So I know I mentioned previously, but EDGE was built with developing countries and cities in mind, which is why we chose it. It has been establishing green building standards for those areas for a long time as an accessible software app and that's easy to use, and a certification program that has projects in over 160 countries. All of those are broken into 8 categories, of which the Atotonilco Rural Community Center will be considered an EDGE education building or certified as such. And in order to be EDGE certified, you must have at least 20% savings in 3 sections: energy, water, and materials. Those calculations are taken by comparing the base case scenario, which takes into account conventional building methods for that area, and it compares it to the improved case, which takes into account the designer's recommendations and measures that they choose and select. Some of the limitations are that EDGE might not have exact location data yet, but I used it because it had regional data access for that area, and it allowed for quick calculations on hand for any changes and was very simple to use. So for the first section, energy, the project was able to get certified as EDGE Advanced by accounting for 52.73% of savings by installing a myriad of things: lighting controls, a green roof, different heating and cooling systems that are more efficient, reducing the window to wall ratio, having on-site renewable energy, provide a portion of the annual energy and what have you. More of those are depicted on the chart to your lower right, where you can see heating and cooling took up a significant part of the usage every year in the base case, and it does so in the improved case as well, but the quantity for each section decreased immensely through those recommendations. Next, there was a water category where the project saved 36.81% of water usage by having more water efficient fixtures and appliances, installing a rainwater harvesting system, and installing smart meters. So as you can see on the chart to your lower right as well, a lot of the restrooms and shower facilities accounted for most of the water usage throughout the year. And the same is said in the improved case, but those numbers decrease significantly. So in the material section, we're able to save 47.22% of embodied energy through materials, which was very significant. That's almost 50%. This is all by deviating from conventional building methods and materials. So we use in situ concrete slabs over RC planks and joist systems for intermediate and bottom floors and the roof. Using concrete to finish the floors was also a big determinant in the amount of savings, and having air gaps to insulate the walls as opposed to insulation. As shown on the chart to the right, you can see all of those categories most of them were reduced in half, if not more, and particularly with the floors and the floor finish and the roof. So, when it comes to operational energy and carbon emissions, final energy use was pretty much cut in half. Final water use used 3,000 square meters less a year. Final embodied energy use through materials was cut significantly. And lastly, final operational CO2 emissions was cut in half pretty much as well. So I bet you're wondering what the cost is for a project like this. It's 68.3 million pesos, or 3.27 million US dollars. There is no payback period or incremental cost, which is great for potential investors. Monthly utility costs are around 3,800 pesos, which means that the recommendations ultimately will save stakeholders 700,000 pesos a year, which is significant for the region and a project of the size. So, in conclusion, this project was built with communities in mind and taking into account that it is a regional initiative and tying a lot of these communities together so they can have spaces to attend classes, host collaborative meetings, events, and summits, and have recreational spaces for various activities. In the energy section, we were able to achieve over half of the typical, or cut usage in half, using a myriad of methods, mostly related to heating and cooling. For the water section, by installing efficient appliances and fixtures and a rainwater harvesting system, we were able to achieve over 36% of savings. With materials, 40% of savings just by deviating from conventional construction materials in the floors, insulation, and roof provide a significant amount of financial savings as well, leading to there being no payback period or incremental costs for the project in spite of these immense utility savings and construction savings. That being said, the 68.3 million pesos for the project is comparable to conventional buildings of its size, which make a good case for folks who want to invest in it and get engaged with the project and support it, because it provides a quality center, but for a portion of the price over time in the long haul. So that being said, thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to comment.